there were some criticisms on the streets, with some of the choice of words that you used on the show, for lack of a better word, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the way that I want to ask this, ke gore, are you generally somebody who just speaks the truth or just speaks bluntly and thinks later? Or is that your character, or is that the pressure of being in the house and wanting to, to find your space and your dominance?
Listen, man, I speak my mind, but not all the time because I
Mm.
understand what I need to hold back. So being in the house, dog, you can't,
Yeah.
you can't hold back 24 hours. You understand that I have to be in the house for 24 hours. But I do speak my mind, yes. But there are times where I hold back, not to hurt people's feelings. But it was hard in the house because I had to
Yeah.
be there every day, all day, doing the same thing. You see, as I told people, look at me, I thought there was going to be a bit of poses the way you can say about a postcard because I never watched the show. So I thought there was going to
Yeah.
be points where you can say, cut, let me take a break. I'm irritated, Iman. So there was no such thing. So I had to speak like that. I had to be straightforward. I regret some of the things I said, and there are things I would like to apologize for, but then and I don't remember all of them because apparently I did it a lot of times. Yeah.
So what's the one thing that you want to apologize for publicly right now? You've got the platform.
Well, I want to apologize how I spoke about Dinky. Obviously, there were points where I just spoke about her, and I didn't mean it to come out like that. But I would like to apologize
Yeah.
for how I spoke about her. Yeah.
Who would you have chosen outside of the people that you had an alliance with in the house to sort of go to the end with?
Mpho, definitely. As much as I saw Uti, she's big and she has the ability of winning, but good competition also is one of the best one. Mpho Vadimu, Tamara, GASH1, yeah.
My question to GASH1 is, do you intend pursuing your relationship with Thato any further, or it was just a fling in the house and you really want to live with her?
Based on that question, I'd like to highlight also the fact that we are individuals. I don't want to lie. Tato is an actor, TV presenter, a content creator, And then when it comes to the relationship, it's something that I've stipulated throughout the interviews that I've had, and I've actually put it clear that definitely that's what we are in. So it's not something that was a fling. Probably, yeah. Let me just end it there. But what I'm just saying, what matters is that it's not a fling.
Themba, yeah, at least you learned how you lost a 2 million in a week. You messed your game up by going to that conspiracy theory, my brother. I know that conspiracy corner, you thought you'd make it, but that is where you lost your money. And unfortunately, you should have stuck with GASH1 and Mpho would be talking something different. Libo, stop lying. You were spreading so much lies about Mpho in the house. You painted such a bleak picture about Mpho, saying how dark she is. So don't, sir, please apologize to Mpho and be good. And that alone has bad connotations to other people, and you didn't make it easy. You and Tools. So, yeah, I don't know how you got to the top 5. You'll thank Themba, but you saw the numbers were not on your side because you guys played a bad game. Bye.
May I respond?
Yes,
Go
please
ahead.
do.
All right. I didn't call poor Doc. I called her comment Doc, not her. She took a playful situation and it was related. She related to something violent, which was dark. It was not. I did not call her dark. I called the comment. I referred to the comment she said as dark.
I just wanted
Please
to
go ahead.
respond to the last person and say, look, and to anyone really, if there's anyone offended in any type of way, I apologize. It's not to try and put anyone down in any way. I actually have a good relationship with Mpho now, and I got to sort of get to know towards the end. But being in a house where you're being watched 24 hours, it's going to be impossible. I find, or I feel, not to offend someone in some type of way. But my intent is not to go into the game to try and be rude or to try and hurt anyone. I have good intentions. But if you see that, you know, certain things can possibly be a strategy, you play into it. At least for me, I have no reason to hate or dislike anyone that is in the house because, I don't know anyone. But it's difficult to fight for the money and play clean. For me, at least, Mpho was able to do that beautifully as well. So it's just all in the game for me.
Libo, I just wanted to know, do you think that with the veto power thing, do you think that Themba chose you because you're a good player, or he actually felt that you were a weak component? And with regards to GASH1 and Mpho, who would you have like chosen if you were given the chance to actually veto power? Okay, thanks.
Okay, great questions. Libo?
All right, Mbusi. I think Themba chose me because he felt he owed me one. Prior to that veto challenge, if you remember, I chose him as my deputy. So that automatically gave him immunity from being nominated. So he felt he owed me one. That's all. I didn't think he felt he was I was weak in any way.
What was your second question? Oh, Mpho and GASH1. Did you get the question?
Yeah, I believe I still have the question on my mind. So if I'm still
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So the question was, if we had the
Veto power?
opportunity to actually veto, who would we choose?
Mm.
To me, honestly speaking, throughout the game, I believed that me and Themba would make it to the final. So as much as he moved how he moved and said all the things he said to me, I still would have chosen him. As much as I noticed how he was starting to move, especially when he started aligning himself with the so-called Xhosa boys, you know. But as much as that happened, I still would have chosen Themba to take to the finals with me. And definitely also Thato.
Okay, Mpho?
I think in that scenario, probably the game would have been on a different way, and there would be different people in the final because it would have been a different dynamic. But I wouldn't take away from decisions made. I would have went with what I felt, and in anything of the conspiracy box was to me was just a lot of sometimes just a lot of confusion, and I would have went with what was neutral at the time, so that would have what swayed my decision and nothing of any alliance, because alliance didn't work for me as well. So I would have chosen independent people in the house to take them to the top.
Guess
Thank you.
when I
Thank you.
go kwate,
Sakwatela, Jwaka, wait.
go
It's what it
kwate
means.
because there was a comment that you made on the show about plus size people, women, and it was not nice, my guy. Please, at least Thato called you out for it, and I'm glad she
Yes.
did that.
Yes.
Thank you for actually owning up to your own mistakes. Thank you very much.
Firstly, you said you and Tamara were having constantly hugs. You were
Sure.
hugging constantly.
Sure.
So Tamara would even ask you why if he makes you uncomfortable, and you said no. Then later on you said to Tata that he makes you uncomfortable. Why did you say that? My
Uh,
second question goes to Mpho. Mpho, why did you bash Tato's hair? The other question is about the clothes. Firstly, when you realize that that the traditional clothes went missing, you did not cry, and you were like, it better be Big Brother's task. Then when you found out it was Libo who took it, and you cried, why did you do London?
when it comes to regards to that, first and foremost, I'd like to apologize if I actually have offended the LGBTQ community. That's not how it was supposed to come out. The reason why I told Tato that I am not comfortable with her insinuating or just trying to persuade me to hug Tamara is because of it's not something that I was doing at my own accord. It's like you being influenced to do something you don't want. Yes, I was always comfortable with Tamara just because of I told him directly that I want him to be comfortable around me. But as soon as I got into a relationship, the dynamics had to change. You get what I'm saying? As much as I was friendly with him, and he knew that there was a line that no matter how many hugs I may give him, but there was one line that would never change and it would never alter. So when that dynamics changed in the house, I had somebody to give or devote all of my attention to. And I believe that's the reason why I actually said what I said. I wanted her to focus more on what we are trying to build rather than what she wanted to see happen, where she found me being so relaxed around certain people, and she didn't want that dynamic to change. So I just wanted her to pay attention to the fact that it's not really necessarily about them. It's necessarily important about what we are trying to build. So that's where that whole dynamic changed. So, but I'm just really sorry it was read out of context.
Danko, Gash, my Gash, we appreciate it. Mpho, there was a question to you, my love.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. I would like to apologize for how the dialogue went. I was not bashing Utato in any way, but I was just highlighting the fact that, I really want to see all ladies look good. I love looking good. It's not that she didn't look good, but I felt like, she was not at some point he was no longer putting more effort in her looks. I like seeing people put their best foot forward, and I'm really sorry, Thato, if that came across as bashing, and I would really like to apologize on that note. And the second question, in light to Ibai, I really was upset at the fact that Libo, him, being spiritual. I thought you'd understand better that that was not something of prized possession. And also, I saw with Big Brother not mentioning it in my diary sessions that it had something to do with a housemaid. And he could have taken anything. He could have taken my wig, my shoes, or anything of that note. But for him to go that far, I literally put Ibailami between Ishiti and the mattress. So for him to go that far, to me, that spelled a level of disrespect. He's on a different journey and I'm on a different journey, but I did not expect that from him. And how I even found it, it was stuffed in a school bag. I respect my things very much. And that's why even when I went into my diary sessions, I would have expected at some point that Big Brother always hints things that happen in a house. The housemates know when you go on the diary sessions, the sessions are always structured around what is going on with you at the time. So I was just waiting for that confirmation to happen because I said that so if someone had taken it, please return it or let's not fight about it. That's why I chose peace over just, causing unnecessary drama. So a simple sorry, Mpho. I thought this, was the perfect thing to take from you, would have made things a lot easier. So there was no actually drama around that. It's just that the perspective, I thought he'd see things differently. But for him to do that, it kind of hit differently. Thank you.
So my question is, if had Yoli stayed for more weeks, would you have still went for Thato, or you had continued with Yoli? And a question for Libo is not Libo, for Tools first. For Tools is was Mpho and Libo's relationship or whatever they had a threat to your alliance with Libo? Or did you also see it as something that you could break off? And Libo, why did you allow Tools to also come in between you and Mpho's relationship?
Hi, Zandi. Thank you for the question. And when it comes to Yoli, the thing is, I couldn't have predicted how it was going. It would have ended, honestly speaking. As much as prior to that, when she was in the house, we did discuss or come to a decision that we will try and see where this thing could lead us. You get what I'm saying? We were unsure about where it was going or how it felt like. It was still in the early stages, if we all paid attention to it. So I don't know how it would have ended up or how it would let up. So I can't really say I wouldn't have gone for Tato or anything. But Tato has always been the apple of my eye since day one. So I don't know how the relationship between me and Yoli would have swayed.
Okay, so see, when it comes to Utu, I did not think he got in between my relationship or my thing with Mpho. More than anything, I would see it. I'd see it when he tried to drop some hints, but more than anything, it was more of confirmation, things I was thinking but not saying out loud. Because I would notice uh, how emotionally attached I was to Mpho at the time, and how that messed with my game in the long run. Because whenever she did not feel well, it would trigger down to me, and I wouldn't feel well for the whole day. So you see those morning meditation that I did, those not just to pray, but just to reflect on how I'm moving in the game and to center myself, So, but I did not obviously always speak what I felt, or rather say out loud what I felt. But whenever Tools would say something, I would just keep quiet, because more times than ever, he was spot on. He was confirming things I was thinking, but I wouldn't say anything.